Thank you for joining us on a weekend. Hopefully this session will be very informative to you. Without any further delay, let's get this started. As we all know, eye as the organ of sight. So let's understand the basic parts of the eye which makes it clearer for us to see things on a daily basis. The first thing is the cornea here, what you see over here. This is a curved structure which is transparent and allows the light to pass through it. The next comes the pupil. Then we have the pupil over here where you can see a black center thing. Pupil is nothing but the opening of the iris. It is also known as the window of the eye. The pupil is got the ability to change its shape from small to big depending upon the light conditions, making the eye feel more comfortable. Say suppose on a bright sunny day, the pupil constricts or becomes smaller so that there is not much of strain onto the eye muscles. It allows only efficient light to enter into the eye. So during the gloomy days or low light conditions, the size of the pupil becomes bigger. Here it allows excessive light to enter so that you can see things more clearly. Next we move on to the lens. The natural lens which is clear. This is a biconvex lens which is shaped like this. So it has got the ability to change its shape, like it can zoom in and zoom out. This has to be clear so that the light passes through the crystalline lens and falls on the retina. If the crystalline lens is not clear, then it is known as cataract if it becomes hazy. So just to give you another example of what a cataract means. Now you have a glass window, you splash a little water, the clarity of vision drops, it's not clear. That means it becomes hazy. So that is how the crystalline lens is inside. If it becomes hazy, it is known as cataract. Now the last one is the retina, which is generally referred to as the screen of the eye where the image forms, which is in turn connected to the brain by the optic nerve, and that is how we appreciate what we see. So what are the functions of the eye? The primary function of the eye is vision, to see things clearly. So what you see in a picture is a very clear red rose over here. The second function would be color vision, to appreciate different colors like red, blue, green. Here Vaishnavi has given me a red rose, so I will also make you understand different colors. Just imagine a lush green field, how beautifully green it looks, or a deep blue sea, or just before the rains the clouds are dark grey, or even a snow-clad mountain or a tulip garden. So that's how we appreciate colors. Now moving to the third function of the eye, which is also very important, known as the depth perception. The ability to see the world in 3 dimensions, that is the length, the breadth and the depth. Like you see in this image, a simple task of getting down the steps is an act of depth perception. So you can make out here what is the depth of the step and all that. So till now we have understood that eye being the organ of sight, then we have understood what are the different parts of the eye which helps us in understanding how we see things clearly. Then we have also understood what are the functions of the eye. Now let's understand the development stages of the eye through our children's eyes. So during the first month, where the central vision is still developing, the connection between the eye and the brain is still forming. So this is how a child sees a blurred image. During this period, you may also feel that the child is got squint. Probably the eye may look a little outward or inward. It does not mean that the child has got squint. It's just that the connection between the eye and the brain is still forming. By the third month, you'll see that the eyes are straight and the child tends to use both the eyes together. So when you move an object, they should be able to follow it. The vision will be still blurred, not crystal clear. By the 5th month, they see even better, and the depth perception also would develop over here. By the 9th month, the iris color formation takes place. That means the melanin distribution happens, where you will be able to say whether your child has got a dark brown eyes, hazel eyes, or a blue green eyes, or a grey eye, like that. Here the eye is fully developed and they can recognize things and persons and respond to facial expressions. So what are the common vision problems in children? So now that we are focusing mainly on children, so we will talk of the common vision problems in children. So the most common vision problems in children are hypermetropia or long sight, myopia or short-sightedness. The other condition is known as astigmatism. So let's start with hypermetropia or long-sightedness. So here a person having this condition will have normal distance vision, while the up close work or the near work, they will complain of headache or eye strain by the end of the day. Like you see in the image, what exactly happens inside the eye. In a normal eye, the light rays which are here falls directly onto the retina, so you appreciate a clearer picture of whatever you see. In a hypermetropic eye, because the size of the eye is smaller, the image formation happens behind the retina. You remember I explained about the crystalline lens or the natural lens inside the eye which swells up, which acts like an automatic camera where it can zoom in and zoom out. So the crystalline lens inside the eye helps us to focus this image which is behind the retina to fall on the retina. Generally the eyes at birth are smaller in size, so majority of the children are hypermetropic and they overcome this problem by using their eye muscles without any complaint. Then the eyes grows to become normal. So how to know if your child has got a vision condition like hypermetropia? If a child complains of headache or eye pain after reading for about half an hour or 1 hour, probably the child has got hypermetropia. So let's move on to my favorite topic, myopia, which is also known as short-sightedness. That means when a person has myopia, he will not be able to see distant objects clearly, whereas the up close will be very clear. Like we see in this image, what exactly happens inside the eye. Like I have already explained, in a normal eye, the light rays focuses directly on the retina or the screen of the eye, so we appreciate clearer vision. In case of myopia, the image formation happens in front of the retina. That is because of the elongation of the eyeball. So how do you understand myopia in children? So how do we know? Because children don't tell us that they have a problem. They assume that everybody sees the way we see and they don't even bring it to our notice. So how do we know as parents, how do we understand that the child has got myopia? So a simple thing is, if a child is sitting in the last bench or the last but one bench in a classroom, he or she will not be able to see what is written on the blackboard. Or sometimes a child sits very close to the television because they cannot see things clearly. So this is a typical example of myopia in children. So why is everyone talking of myopia nowadays? So is it something new? No. Myopia was there previously, it has been there now, and it is going to be in future, but in a more numbers. The global study says that by 2050, 50% of the world population is going to be myopic, and especially most of them would be affected would be children. Scary, right? Yeah, I'm not scaring you, but I'm just informing you. This is how the statistics looks like. So what is it causing myopia in children? When we were going to school, say about we had a strength of 50 students in a class, 1 or 2 students would wear glasses. Now if I see about 10 children in my clinic, I see at least 5 to 6 of them wearing spectacles. So there is something what we are not doing right. So what is it? After a lot of research, the eye experts and scientists have come to a conclusion that it could be genetics and lifestyle habits. So let's understand genetics through this image over here. Like say suppose if one of the parent is myopic, then there is 25% chances of the child developing it. If both the parents are myopic, then there is 50% chances of the child developing it. So in case if you are a myopic and you have children, please schedule an eye examination for your child just to understand if they have a problem or no. Now let's talk of lifestyle changes. Constant or increased close work, like lot of time spent on reading or increased use of digital screens and less time spent outdoors is a triggering factor of myopia in children. Like you see in this image over here, every possible child I see nowadays is with a digital gadget in their hand. Last one is astigmatism. This is not very common, but still if not maintained correctly, you could probably also develop astigmatism. Astigmatism is mainly caused due to the irregular corneal curvatures. Like you see in this image here, the cornea is normally curved where you can relate it to a football. In cases of astigmatism, the corneal curvature is more. Can you see here? Yes. So you can relate this image to a baseball. So what causes this condition in the eye? Constant or frequent rubbing of the eyes causes the cornea to change its shape. So squeezing or shrinking of the eyes to see clearly also aggravates this problem. So if you see your child doing this type of things, please ask them from doing so. So what to watch out for in children? In toddlers, look out for squint or watering of the eyes. If there is excessive watering, yes, that means there is some sort of a problem in the eye. Photophobia or sensitivity to light, white patch or cloudiness of the lens. This could be cataract. In the first slide I have explained about cataract. You see a white reflex here in the center. That is the pupil. What you are seeing, the white thing, is the cataractous lens inside the eye. So what to watch out for in school going students? Squint again and drooping of eyelids, which is commonly known as ptosis. You see here the left eye is normal, whereas the right eye, the lid is slightly drooped down. Here you see photophobia again, sensitivity to light. Stye. Recurrent stye is like a heat boil on the lids. So if a child is developing recurrent styes, that means there is some sort of a refractive problem or a vision problem inside the eye. Frequent rubbing of the eyes is a big red flag. Red eyes, sitting close to the television, holding books or study material very close to the face, complaining of headache by the end of the day, watering of the eyes or squeezing their eyes to see things clearly, lack of concentration or drop in the grades at school. If you see any of these red flags, it is an indication that the child has some sort of a vision problem.